Yes. Okay, we are now recording. Also, please remember to keep your mics muted unless you have questions or anything.
Thank you, Ander. So this is part of our ongoing project called CondoReno, and what we are going to share with you today is like the output and the information that we already shared in a very long report. We will try to summarize this information during this webinar. The webinar is for 1 hour, so we will try to be punctual with the time and finish at 5 p.m. Today's agenda is structured to provide a comprehensive insight first into our CondoReno project and the development of innovative business models. I will give a short introduction about the project CondoReno and the goals of the project. Then we are going to set the scene for today's topic. Then we are going to discuss the lessons learned from studying several business models across Europe. We are also going to discuss barriers for developing integrated home renovation services for service providers who are providing such services for condominium associations, and what opportunities do those service providers have to overcome some of those barriers. And then we are going to share with our partners some of the experiences that they have. And then the last part is the outtakes from this webinar, what can help in developing viable business models for integrated home renovation service providers. So first of all, the project is called CondoReno. If you didn't hear about it before, it's short for Condominium Renovations. And the aim of the project is to accelerate energy renovations for condominium associations by creating 6 viable business models of integrated home renovation services, and to be replicated in 10 European countries. We aim to create 3 public-driven business models and 3 market-driven business models. We at TU Delft are happy to be leading this project, collaborating with 9 esteemed partners across the Netherlands, Flanders, and France. The project started October 2022 and scheduled to continue through September 2026. We also are fortunate to be supported by an advisory board that plays a role in guiding our activities and developments. Their expertise ensures that our project remains innovative. We have a Dutch advisory board that consists of stakeholders that are public, like government and public agencies, municipalities, industry associations and federations, energy and sustainability initiatives, stakeholders related to condominiums and homeowner associations, and private companies and enterprises. We also have a Flemish advisory board that also consists of the same stakeholder categories as the Dutch, but also stakeholders that are working on consulting and providing legal services for condominiums, also regional development and planning services, and educational institutions. I think we are aware of the current renovation rate in Europe, which is 1%, and we are aware of the goals set by the European Union to be climate neutral by 2050. and that we need to increase this percentage to be 3%. And condominium associations struggle to renovate their buildings. There is a list of barriers that they encountered during the renovation of their buildings. And there are initiatives for condominium associations, those groups in the Netherlands, known as VVE Versnellings Agenda. And also there are other initiatives in Flanders as well, like providing special subsidies that, just for this target group. In the Netherlands, there is about 125,000 registered condominium association. And in Flanders, there is about 94,000 registered condominium association, or sorry, in all of Belgium. What is a condominium association? Condominium association consists of multiple homeowners. They live together under in one building envelope. They own their individual, or the individual units are owned by single homeowners, while the whole group share some common areas, and they also share the ownership of those common areas. And by law, they have to form an association, so-called condominium association, also known in the Netherlands as VVA's, in Flanders as VMA's. Those associations are responsible for collecting maintenance costs and also responsible for making decisions about the upkeep and renovation of their buildings. Sometimes we have more than one condominium association within one building envelope as well, which adds more complexity to the decision making and the renovation of such buildings. So how is the decision taken? As we mentioned, there are individual co-owners, but sometimes there are owners of more than one apartment. For example, housing companies or social housing that sold some of their apartments, and it turned into a VVA or a condominium association. And they form from this group of owners a board, which we call condominium association board, and they vote for decisions, and they are responsible for taking those decisions. In some cases, the condominium associations hires a professional condominium manager who executes the decisions that are taken by this board. And in some cases, in smaller condominiums, a member of the condominium association board voluntarily manages and executes such decisions. We would like to ask you a question. Maybe you can share the first and the second question on Slido.
The first question is open. You can see how to access the credentials and the code on the chat. And I see there is already people voting. Then once
So condominium associations face several barriers. Some of those barriers related to technical challenges. Some of those barriers are legal barriers. Some of those barriers are financial, and some of those barriers are also social barriers. So we would like to ask you to give us like one barrier that you think is the most common barrier that condominium associations face when they renovate their buildings. So this is the second question, if you can share it, Ander.
Yeah, it's open. We have people writing now. Okay, let me share the screen as this one. Can you see it?
Yeah.
So maybe I need to make it a bit small. So we have financial barriers, finances too expensive, get a renovation decision from the CA, social barrier, every owner is in a different stage of federal development. I don't know if that's a wrong translation from mine. Investment costs, high investment costs, making a shared decision that everyone wants, not enough expertise, and there's one participant more typing. It says the mixture of owners, age, income, etc.
Okay, so maybe we can go back again to the presentation. Let me share the screen. Yeah. Okay, so we have also dived into those several barriers and challenges, and we have categorized them into technical barriers like lack of quality assurance, lack of standardized solutions, social barriers like collective decision-making process lasts long and complex, homeowners' behaviors towards renovation, also financial barriers that we see that many of you agree on. That is one of the most common and important barriers: high upfront costs, insufficient subsidies, high services of costs after renovation due to maintenance costs, legal barriers like the complex ownership structure. Sometimes we have unregistered condominium association. So we have a very long list of barriers that we have addressed and have mapped during the last year. And you can find the whole list in this publication that we will also share on our website later. So condominium associations, they have a very long journey to renovate their buildings. Sometimes it takes more than 3 years from the onboarding to get to know what options do they have till the finish of the renovation. And during this journey, there are many stakeholders that are involved to execute some of the needed tasks and the needed phases, like the municipalities giving more awareness about what options are there, condominium managers addressing in their business case the energy renovations of the buildings that they are managing, engineers and architects doing energy audits, financial institutions providing loans, subsidies, also mortgages and so on. So there are many different stakeholders that need to collaborate together to work in an integral way to hand over some tasks. And this is what we call Integrated Home Renovation Services or Integral Home Renovation Services. So the word Integrated Home Renovation Services means that we include all technical solutions, financial solutions, project management that includes also support for the decision-making by the condominium associations and also execution. So it includes the design phase, the planning, project management, and execution, and the integral in an integral way, which involves coordinating multiple stakeholders to deliver a comprehensive suite of services for home renovations, utilizing aligned strategies. And we see those service providers. Sometimes they are public service providers like municipalities, sometimes private sectors, small SMEs, and also sometimes collaboration between public private organizations. So we see them in public-private partnerships. And we also address this as the one-stop shop term. So what we did in the last year, that we looked into different kind of service providers that provide such services in Western Europe. And we have selected or studied more than 20 business models of integrated home renovation service providers. We have had like in-depth interviews with those service providers, trying to understand their business models, how are they trying to tackle the barriers that homeowner associations face, and how are they strategically trying to overcome those barriers. And we have analyzed those business models according to the business model canvas. So we have studied business models from municipalities, as shown, private companies, public-private companies, and also we have looked into other sister projects that are working in the European Union in other countries. And if you're not familiar with the business model canvas, this is how it looks like. We have on the right side the value that they propose, which is energy renovations, and all of them propose this value or deliver this value to the homeowner associations. And we have certain channels that they use to address and to reach out to those groups. And we have on the left side the activities that those business models or those service providers are doing, what kind of resources do they have, and with whom do they work. So we have also another publication that shows the analysis of those business models that you also can find the link of it on our website and also on LinkedIn. And you can also scan this barcode to see more about those business models. But what is important to discuss today is the lessons that we learned from those business models. It's clear that the renovation of such projects are complex. So we need to make at least the way and the strategies more simpler and more accessible to those groups. Communication strategies are very important in each of those phases. The customer-centric approach is also something that was highlighted in several business models. The revenue streams for those business models. We have also studied other cases of one-stop shops that are providing energy renovations for homeowner associations that could not complete providing such services because they had a negative revenue. So we also see that there's importance to have a diverse revenue streams, not just always relying on funds. Holistic service offering. This is what we address here by the full renovation service. It's important to focus on the energy efficiency. Partnerships and collaborations with different stakeholders is something that was highlighted in most of the business models. Targeting vulnerable groups. This is also something that was mentioned in several projects, especially the sister projects. Integration of technologies and tools that helps also understand the different phases and how can we move from one phase to the other, and for the data collection and adaptation of the business models. This is something that is very important to consider, to learn from experiences, to learn from projects, and always adapt the business model to the needs. We have also had a series of workshops to improve the business models that we are developing in CondoReno. And we will not go into all of those lessons, but it's important to understand that sometimes it's, or most of the times, it's important to collaborate with other sectors to be able to ensure the integral approach and the quality of the integral approach. Also, the development of robust communication strategies was also one of the opportunities to improve the business models. And what was also important for us is to understand how can we make a business model viable, which is the aim of the project, is to create viable business models of integrated home renovation service providers. And we understand this, or we have made like a definition from our understanding that a viable business model is the business model that can balance the interests of different stakeholders involved, which includes the residents, the contractors, the financiers, and the policymakers, and also balance between all costs associated with the various phases of the renovation process and the revenues that are generated by this business. This balance ensures that the business model is sustainable, avoiding negative revenue, so it can keep executing more work and also maintain affordability at the same time. And by this, the model becomes more attractive to the target groups, promoting broader adoption and success. And now we have time for our partners to share their experiences from the last year. I would like to welcome Claire from the City of Antwerp, Claire Verberck, Annick Vanhove from the City of Mechelen, Kim Vandecaveye from the City of Oostende, Walter van Steenis from Verberck, and Johan Vanden Driessche from Embuild. So as a starting question, maybe you can give us a brief overview of your organization's role in Integrated Home Renovation Services. What are the core activities and the services that you offer, and how do these integrate with the broader goals of the energy transition of condominium associations? Maybe we can start with the Flemish partners. Or sorry, we can start first with the WNR. Walter?
Yes, Ragy, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
That's great, because my video is not working, so I'll do it without this pictures. The WNR has a business model that is coordinating. That means that we are involved in the renovation process of the condominium association from the very first advice to the renovation itself. And you have the sheet. Thank you. In contrary to what the overview indicates, is that we also have taken into account the aftercare, like handling the warranty claims, evolution of the process itself, and for 30 years after the control of the energy performance guarantee. In the beginning, it's half green colored, but apparently when condominium associations approach us, they are somehow informed or activated, whatever, but we also do a lot of activating ourselves with webinars and other kind of information. We can move on to the next slide, and that's that. Did we benefit from this working with these business models? And I should say yes, we did. The business model itself, and later on the assessment we have fulfilled, has given us more structure to the development of our work. We are used to relying on our gut feeling and a lot of experimenting, like the trial and error. And in this way, it's way more structured. The barriers and solutions are more clarified, defined. We are in our coordinating role doing hardly anything ourselves, but we are like a spider in a web. We have an extensive network of stakeholders, and by writing out this business model, we realized it's way more than we thought on forehand. The clear insight into our strengths and certainly also our weaknesses provide immediate reason to take concrete action. And the development of the roadmap is a good example of these new insights, and we develop new products out of it. I think that's for short. Yeah, that's a picture of the roadmap. Is it clear? You have a question?
It's clear. Thank you so much for the precise introduction of what activities you're doing in WNR. Maybe we can move to the Flemish partners.
Yes, hello everyone. So the business models of the Flemish energy houses is a facilitating business model. And the business model of the City of Oostende, the City of Mechelen, and the City of Antwerp are mainly the same. And when we look at the figure that is presented right now, the business model of the energy house is the second one. You can go to the next one, Ragy. Thank you. And as an energy house, we play a vital role in the renovation process of apartment buildings. We are serving to inform and engage the condominium association and the condominium managers. And together with these stakeholders, we focus on the key decision-making moments. And as you can see on the figure that is presented right now, you can see that the role of the renovation coach of an energy house is mainly in the beginning of the renovation master plan trajectory, so in the green arrow. And we are aiming for a comprehensive approach and encourage the creation of a long-term vision for these buildings which we are working with. And through these efforts, we also aim to accelerate the renovation rate of apartment buildings, and we want to achieve the climate targets who are set for 2050. Thank you.
So what we want to figure out during the CondoReno project by Embuild is that we will try to develop some other business models, market-driven business models, who they can take off after the first steps in the renovation process. And on the moment that we will come into the execution phase, we will figure out, as I said, if there are some viable market-driven business models as a design and build or design build finance, or maybe a kind of an ESCO model that can be viable in renovation of the condominiums apartments. Yes.
Yeah. We also, from the Flanders IHRS, we have encountered some pivotal challenges for our IHRS. And the first one is the complexity of a condominium association, and especially the decision-making process in that condominium associations. We encountered that demands specific skills and knowledge from our employees of an energy house. You have to know something about legal issues. You have to know something about technical issues. You need to have skills to work with the group dynamics in a condominium association. So that is a one great challenge if you want to work with these condominium associations. Another challenge that we meet is that sometimes we encounter reluctance of a condominium manager who is reluctant to promote and to support integral renovations. Some of them are used to do the ad hoc renovation work. So when there is a problem, they will fix it, but they don't have a long-term vision on the renovation of the buildings. And so therefore we really have to convince them first that a long-term vision is something that also helps the condominium association and helps also the condominium manager in the supporting and the beheer, in the supporting and the maintenance of the building. Yeah. Then another thing that we encounter as we are working within municipalities and local governments is that the fact that we need to take a neutral and independent position as a public service, that also limits our tailor-made advice. So sometimes we see for renovation and we know that some contractors are very good and could help these condominium association in proceeding in their renovation plans, but we cannot give advice and tell this condominium association, we know a good guy for you and just go to that contractor. No, we have to remain neutral, and that limits a good progress in the renovation plans of a condominium association. And then the last one, and that is really a big challenge, and we are very looking forward what the elections of June bring on this side, is that most of the support and the services the Flemish municipalities develop depend on temporarily European, Flemish or local subsidies. And when there is a change of legislations and of parties at the European level or at the Flemish level, then we can also expect a change in subsidies that will be available to further develop our HRS. And what is the next step when we what do we see as next steps in upscaling the HRS from the facilitation model from the Flemish municipalities? That is further working on the matchmaking, the demand and the supply side. And we put in an image of a relay race, because for us it's really about how can we give the stick to the next person. So we know that we are in the beginning phase of renovation plans of condominium association, and we know that we have to give the stick to another person. It can be an architect, it can be a contractor, and how can we do this in a qualitative way so that the renovation process will go on smoothly for the condominium association? That's one of the things we are working on. And it's about also the last bullet on the slide. It's about further exploring this pivotal moment from planning to execution. That will be our focus for autumn, to explore these things. And also the next step to upscaling is giving training to employees of the energy houses about the specific situation of condominium association and of condominium renovation. Thank you.
Thank you, Annick and Claire and Johan and Kim. Maybe we can go back again to the Dutch case. I would like to ask Walter if you can share with us the challenges that your organization face when offering integrated home renovation services for condominium associations. What challenges do you face? And also what opportunities and next steps that you're planning to take to upscale such services for condominiums?
Yes, thank you, Ragy. Well, we don't think that there's one big step that will solve all the problems. We think that all technical solutions are available or on short notice available, as is the financing part. I know that won't be the same for every European country, but there are several good examples. We strongly think that we have to pay a lot of attention to one of the most important steps, and that's gaining the trust of the apartment owners in the condominium association, the homeowners. and we can say, okay, that has all to do with transparent communication, but also in a clear insight into costs. One of the main barriers you saw in the beginning is that it's about finance, it's about how much it's going to cost. But it's way more important to tell what you're getting out of it. How many euro can you save on energy costs? It's important to give an insight in the risks and guarantees. For example, I could say the calamity fund we're working on in the CondoReno project, and in the end, it's very important to have individual solutions for the few people that really cannot afford such renovation. It can't be true that 1, 2, 3 people out of 100 can stop or can block renovation because they really can't afford it. So process guidance, I think we think very important is the cooperation of all authorities during the process. So not only like just presented from our Flemish partners in the beginning to get them informed and activated, but I think this cooperation should go on throughout the whole process, and of course we need to create examples of the success stories. Thank you.
And yeah, thank you, Walter. And to maybe comment on this, or maybe I would ask you to tell us, like we saw that the financial barriers is something that is really important to address in such renovations. What kind of solutions or opportunities do such condominiums have to overcome such barriers? We know, of course, about the subsidies that are there, but also sometimes businesses can provide some opportunities for such groups to overcome such barriers. Can you comment on this, or can you tell us a little bit from your experience on this?
Yes, I can. The thing is that most of the condominium associations don't have a good insight in future costs for maintenance and bigger repairs and bigger investments they have going to make. So most of the condominium associations don't have a large enough financial fund. That is important to work on. You can do that by explaining and by convincing them to secure their own future. Although it's hard to ask the people who are living there to make a bigger reservation because they have to pay it every month. Of course, you can look at some legal solutions to get the same reservations at the right level. On the other hand, as we know that many of these condominium associations do not have enough funds to renovate, we could try to provide a European or a national fund out of which these renovations can be financed. In the Netherlands, we have het Warmtefonds, which is a very nice example. And of course, it's important to get the interest rate quite low. You can do that by eliminating all kinds of risks for these financial parties. There is a lot of money in Europe, like the huge investment companies like the pension funds, etc. And they are looking for green funds. So if you can organize that, you have a lot of money to spend and to invest in renovations.
Thank you, Walter. I would also like to give the floor or the option for today's audience to feel free. If you have any question, just put it in the chat box, and then we can also ask the partners to answer them. Going to the takeaways of this report that we have developed. It was very important to emphasize stakeholders' collaboration, to be able to develop viable business models. This means that collaboration with various stakeholders to engage companies, knowledge institutions, consultant agencies, municipalities, all of the stakeholders that we have mentioned during this webinar, also facilitating joint ventures, promoting partnerships between public and private entities to leverage diverse expertise and also resources, which is very important. And this we can relate to the key partnerships in the business models and also the key activities, what kind of activities needs to be done, and with what kind of stakeholders do we need to have to be able to execute those activities. Focusing on early stage success. This is something that we highlighted in our report to ensure a detailed planning and also stakeholder engagement from the beginning of the renovation process. Sometimes during the renovation, we find out that there was a missing person or a missing stakeholder that would have benefited the renovation if he was there from the beginning. The stakeholder was there from the beginning. Customer journey guidance, providing a clear step-by-step guidance to homeowner associations through initial stages of the renovation process. And this is also what we are developing in CondoReno. And this is also something related to the value proposition and the activities, again, that the service providers can offer in their business model. Enhancing communication and decision support. This is something that was highlighted by different and several organizations, different from their organization type, whether it's private organizations or public organizations. A communication strategy is important, especially for the decision making through the customer journey. Implementation of an integrated service approach. This was also something that was mentioned in our report and from the lessons learned from the workshops that we had. Addressing the technical challenges. Still, there are some technical barriers, sometimes that leads to a different energy consumption rates. So the expected energy savings were not the same as the actual energy savings. Fostering future-proof renovations, making sure of the quality of the renovations, offering financial solutions through subsidies or through, for example, the living cost neutral approach to overcome financial barriers. Also offering solutions to overcome legal barriers, like, for example, the division of the deed. This is something also that many condominiums face when they add an extra square meters to their building or when they do rooftop extensions on their buildings. So there are also some legal barriers that needs to be addressed. Creating a scalable and flexible model. This is something that ensures the success of the business models after a certain amount of years, and also engaging in the community and understanding the residents' needs and concerns and talking to them, which again brings us to the communication and the importance of the communication. All of those are recommendations for developing the business models. I see that we have a question from Anton. Many apartments are rented out, so if you want to convince a homeowner association to vote for a renovation program, you need to convince these owners to invest in these apartments. A clear example of split incentives, yes. How can we deal with this? I would leave this to the partners if you want to answer this question.
Ragy, shall I give it a shot?
Sure.
In our experience, these
hello, it's Annick from City of Mechelen. Anton, thank you for your question. What I have the experience in my buildings that it really depends on what's the composition of the condominium association, and that it is not necessary that if there are owners who rent their apartments that they refuse to pay for renovation works. So it really depends on the specific situation of this owner renter of this owner renter. And in some situations, I have experienced that just the owner renters were the one who were pleading for the renovation works because they feared that the value of their investment would drop. And they were the ones who also convinced other owners to make investments in the renovation work. In other buildings, it is really the problem that there are some owners, renters that block the decisions on renovation works. So I don't think that there is one tool or one tip or tricks to use with owner renters. Yeah, what I try to do then is to have extensive talks with those co-owners to see where we can find a common common importance is or a common value that they all feel is important for their building to move towards renovation. I don't know if that is an answer to you, Anton.
Thank you, Annick. But Walter also think have something to say.
Yeah, I was a little bit overruled by my colleague from Mechelen, but that's no problem. I totally agree. Lately, we see a lot of these commercial rental companies or sometimes even private-owned rental situation that those owners are willing to invest because they fear that they might not be able to raise the rent because of the worse energy labels. Which starts, I say by heart, in 28 or something like that. So they are willing to invest more or less, and they try to convince others to give a trick, like Annick suggested. The trick is, of course, this split incentive. If you have a reduce in energy costs for the renter, it's you can make an agreement that they have to pay a little bit extra rent. So it's also important for this landlord who is renting out the houses to invest. Some of the contracts, the rental contracts, provide already in such agreement, and sometimes you have to talk it over. But still, if you can convince someone who rents a house that he is going to save a lot of money in energy, unless he is willing to pay a little bit of extra rent, it's a good start of a conversation.
Yeah, I see also the comment from Peter that he agrees with Annick that one owner can also block the work, and sometimes it doesn't just help talking to those owners. And yeah, this is something that we also try to understand. How can both the owner or the co-owner and the tenant benefit from such renovations, or see benefit for them of such renovations? For example, the increase of the value of the property after the renovation. This might be something that motivates the co-owners a little bit, but still it's something that needs to be, of course, addressed more. Thank you, Walter, for also commenting on that. So maybe a last question is that for our audience also, Ander, if you can share the last question with the audience.
Yep, the question is open Slido. You can access using the same credentials and you should see it. We have one answer already. Let me share the screen. So the last one is, how do we make integrated home renovation services a more attractive proposition? I don't know if Ragy, you're gonna go read the answers.
Yeah, maybe you can give like 1 minute for the participants to first give answers, and then we can share the common answers. Yeah, I agree with the first answer. This was one of the lessons learned from studying the business model, that we need to focus more on a customer-centric approach, person by person, owner by owner. Yeah, be human, focus on the benefits for the residents rather than the technicalities of the process. This is also what we emphasize on with the communication strategies. How can we communicate better with the homeowners to understand their needs and to be able to find the most suitable solution for them where they feel comfortable. Yeah, also agree with the stakeholders collaboration. Have to collaborate with several stakeholders. This is what we are also developing in CondoReno through the roadmap that we have, trying to map out all the tasks that needs to be executed, and trying also to understand whom from the stakeholders is responsible to execute such tasks. Make sure the owners in the building develop a common long-term vision about their buildings. This is also something that I think we try to engage or motivate the condominium associations to have like a long-term plan. Yeah, maybe we can wait for the last two answers. Yeah, condominium managers. This is also something that we have discussed a lot during the last year. The importance of the condominium manager. Sometimes they do block also some information to reach to the homeowners regarding any sustainable measures. So the business case of the condominium managers somehow also need to include some sustainable measures. yeah, the maintenance costs are higher after the renovation. This is something that we see as a barrier. Have good examples of ESCOs. Thank you. Okay, so we are almost on time. Maybe I can go back again to the slides. Yeah. Thank you, Anders. Thank you, everyone, for your suggestions and for participating in this webinar. We have the reports on our website and every other deliverables. The roadmap that you have also saw is also on our website. You can go to condoreno.org and find all our publications. And if you are interested, please just contact us for further collaborations. Thank you, everyone. Are there any last questions?
I have another question. I have to tell about Groningen now. They had monthly for the service cost and the energy, €318 per month. And what we did calculate after the renovation was 321, so €3 more than less. But this was calculating before the war in Ukraine. So they have later on the energy cost was much higher, and they backing now to starting with. So in May, end of this month, we starting with a complete with a complete renovation.
That's a very interesting case, I think. Yeah, Carl Peter.
Yeah, maybe you have to come in a few months to Groningen to then let's see it. There is now a demo apartment where we can see what happens, what we do, and how we do it. And it's a very nice to see how we did that. It has a long time. I'm starting in 2016 with this project. So 8 years later now we can starting with renovation. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it takes so long.
Yeah.
The initial like onboarding or the initial phase till you start with the renovation. 8 years is a very long period, but sometimes this shows how complex it is.
Yeah, it's very complex and very complex with the contractor and so on. And the price is going up from 6 million to 8 million now, 8.2 precisely, including the taxes. And but it is really worth for what we do now there. So come to see it.
Thank you for the invitation, Carl. Yeah, of course. It would be something nice to also learn from what's currently happening.
Yeah, I think in July we can make you come to the high north. It's for me tomorrow is the tomorrow in the evening they have something to drink and so on. Borrel, how we call it in English. For that we are going to start. Everyone is ready now. We have everyone spoken. We have a court problem behind us from one. They say you never come in my apartments. Now the court, the judge has said nothing to do. You're working. You are in the VVE, in the condominium, so you have to give them access.
Access, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very, I think, interesting case to study as well.
Yeah, it should. This really the practice side of these nice thing what Clarence and Walter has made, and you can see where the risk is and how the risk is done, and I can tell about it. Come to Groningen, so I should say.
Thank you for the invitation.
It's a lot of kilometers from Antwerp and Mechelen.
Okay, thank you everyone for participating in this webinar. And as we mentioned, we are going to share also this recording on our website, so you can share it also with your colleagues. Thank you so much, and see you next time.